Hello, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of Full Steam Ahead. I know you probably not recognize my voice, starting it off, but hasn't been able to hear with us, so it's going to be me and my special guest Stevan filling in. How's it going, Stevan?
Doing what I was doing
Stevan, I know you've been following the Astros for a very long time. I think you follow like mostly, I think all the Houston teams. How does it feel being able to talk baseball right here to all the Astros fans out there?
I mean, honestly, it's a fun opportunity to talk about a team that I've been following and, the up and downs and the challenges of injuries and, going on playoff runs and being always on top of the division. So it's pretty cool. It's a
Yeah,
blessing because not all fans are able to have that type of opportunity of a team. Some teams stay in clubs for a while.
absolutely. What's been one of your like biggest moments or like proudest moments? Either you witnessed as a fan or in live in the stadium on TV.
Honestly, something that kind of just like stuck to me was back in high school, and me and a couple buddies skipped school to go to the playoffs game against the Royals
Of
during the
course,
week. It was just fun, seeing all the old guys back in the day, Springer, Lou Correa, it was cool.
of course, and then, obviously, I'm sure it was worth it at the end. So,
Yeah, definitely.
memories live forever.
Yeah,
Of course. Well, we appreciate you stepping in. As I said, Lorenzo couldn't be here with us, but he should be back soon here enough. But again, just to get you what we're going to be talking about, we're going to be recapping this A series, preview the Tampa Bay series, who the Astros just saw over there in Tampa a few weeks ago. We got some injury updates on Jordan Alvarez and Ronel Blanco, who was hit with some not so great news. We also have talking about Christian Walker and Spencer Rigetti, who, one's close to be back, one just got, hit by a pitch. You never want that. But again, just you can find us on X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You can also find us on Spotify podcasts and Apple podcasts. But we do have some coming in, and Jacob Wilson is that dog. But yeah, I mean, Jacob Wilson was good. I mean, he
yeah,
went like
he
2 for 4.
was.
I actually got the opportunity to talk to him, and I asked him about his swing because again, he has a very unique stance. It's like he's always moving out there, kind of not as exaggerated as Gary Sheffield, I would say, but he's always moving in there. He's always said he's been a twitchy athlete growing up, so that's pretty cool to hear. I
Yeah,
mean, what did you see off him?
usually like a lot of hitting guys would be like, oh, like minimize our movement. He's a guy
Of
just
course,
like just he knows what he wants to do and he just let go and he gets good contact usually every time.
of course. Like I was talking to some of the guys, because he's a great contact hitter. Luis Arras is a great contact hitter, but yet two different approaches at the plate. Like you were saying, being still. That's Luis Arras, very quiet at the plate. But Jacobs Wilson's the complete opposite. But for sure, yeah. But I guess Astros right now 30-25. They have won 4 straight games, second in the AOS right now. I know Seattle's playing at the moment against Washington, but at the moment right now, the Astros are 1 game back in the AL West. Seven, how confident are you in this Astros team being in this position? Do you think they still have a great chance to win the division?
Oh, most definitely we have a great opportunity. I mean, the way we're going right now, not on our wheels. We got some people that are injured. Eric Geddes. There's a couple guys that we, mentioned they got about on the episode, but I mean, once everybody comes back second half, it's gonna be a lot for everybody.
Absolutely. I think the Astros haven't played well, so far, and the fact that they're 1 game back, they took 3 out of 4 against Seattle earlier this last week. So I think in a good spot. But let's recap that A series real quick. This is a game where the Astros offense certainly wake up, and they've been playing a lot better at home. Hunter Brown continues to shove. 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 0 walks, 8 strikeouts. He threw 23 fastballs, and that really caught my attention because when we talk about Hunter Brown, we think fastball right off the bat just because he has that high speed velocity can touch up 99 miles per hour. Really, I think he's only allowed 7 hits on that pitch this year, but only threw 23 of them. His focus is the sinker. He threw 43 sinkers, 17 knuckle curves, 5 changeups. He's 73 with a 2 ERA through 88 pitches, 59 of them strikes, 11 swings and misses. And get this, he had an average exit velocity of 86.8. What have you liked about Hunter Brown this season?
I mean, he's just been having that mentality where he wants to be sharp and to minimize errors. He wants every call. You know, he'll make a face after if he doesn't get something called and fires unfair. And you could just tell he has grit. He wants to be excellent every time.
Of course. And something that really catches my attention is something that Lorenzo's been saying is, the year Hunter Brown's been pitching at the ace. I know Farmer Valdez got the opening day start. I think he deserves that as well. But Hunter Brown has slowly proven that he could be an ace. He could start opening day next year. The Astros decide to part ways with Farmer Valdez. He's been one of their biggest and best consistent starting pitchers so far in this season. I think him being, just doing what he's got to do every day out. He's shown that he's been really great. I think a pay raise could be in the works for him. So I know he's going to be going to arbitration in a few years too, so they can work through that. But he did allow a home run to Lawrence Butler. It actually traveled 418 feet, but he did get a lot of support from the offense. I mean, a lot. Jimmy Pena hit a 330-foot home run, which only would have been gone out at two stadiums out of 30. That was an epidemic of a Crawford box shot right there. Barely hit the first first row rating there. Bounced off. I don't think I've ever seen a home run that lands in foul territory when it's done. I don't know if you saw it, but it ricocheted off the metal thing and ended up on the other side of the
Yeah.
foul pole. So very nice to see. Christian Walker, he had a bomb 417 feet, and Jose Altuve. I think he was the man of the night there. 4 for 4, two home run night. It was his 13th multi home run game. Didn't get the opportunity to, something that Jose Altuve has never done. He's won an MVP, won a World Series, had again 13 multi home run games, been 4 for 4 time. Never had a 5 hit game. Didn't get that opportunity because he was pitching for obviously the 11-1 lead. You're gonna get some. It's probably gonna get some playing time for the guys who don't get that much playing time. But Cam Smith, that's the guy I want to talk to you about this time around. Cam Smith has struggled early, but has shown he can be. He's major league ready. Has had some great at bats. He did hit a ball 413 feet. It was an out in center field. That would have been a home run in 23 out of 30 stadiums, but um, he did bounce back with hitting a 2-run double off the ball. In my opinion, I think Cam Smith, has just to me, he just needed more opportunities on the field. Like he's only had what a year, a little less than a year in the minor leagues, and already in the majors. It can be like kind of like a growth period. I think the more he gets, the more playing time he gets, the more better he will be. What have you seen from him, like being in the stands, being able to witness Cam Smith play? And then how does that, what have you seen from him so far?
I mean, there's been good flashes. I mean, definitely on the arm is there, the reading is there, vision is very well. He can work some great at bat. And he seems to never lose confidence, regardless if he has something that doesn't work for him, he tries to find ways to work around it. And that's what you want to see in a young guy like that, especially somebody that can rush past through the farm system. You know, he's confident in what he's willing to take on anything, and the future is bright.
Yeah, for sure. I know that Caltech trade stirred up a lot of, negative reactions, but I think Cam Smith has proven that one more year Kyle Tucker is not worth 7 years or 6 years of Cashman. I think that's going to be turn out to be a phenomenal trade. Chas McCormick made an appearance there too. He did have 2 hits, did have an RB. I know he doesn't get that much playing time, but overall it was a good day for the offense. Yeah, overall the Astros scored 13, uh, recorded 13 hits, and again, like I said, scored 11 runs.
And then again with Tuve, that was just an amazing performance that he did, especially for the women. All the ladies were there to get their night, and he put on for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. But you want to get us with that game two? What did you see from that?
That's what Carter was starting to clean himself up. 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, a walk, and 12 Ks, which is phenomenal from a guy that had so many ups and downs. Had so much negativity come towards him. A lot of guys sometimes all that negativity can never get courage to come back. They just stay down and never get back up. And it's great that he's finding his confidence again and he's finding his stride with what he could do. And easing into it. You know, you obviously don't want him to get hurt, so you can tell he's just getting everything there and working to man. And he's still got pretty good phase. He pitched 102 pitches, 41 sliders, 20 sinkers, 22
No curveballs.
knuckle. Okay, and no change, two fastballs and one curve. So I mean,
Yeah,
was there.
yeah. I think that start was like a vintage McCullers start 2022, where uh, I think his first few starts, you saw him throw the sinker a lot more, but now he relied on his bread and butter pitches, the one that's made him, the ones that allowed him to get paid back in, 2022, 2021, the one that made him a star, and that's his slider and his knuckle curveball. I think the 41 sliders is the most sliders he's thrown in the game this season, and just being able to trust his stuff on that.
If it works, then why go somewhere else? You're gonna get everything.
Absolutely.
That's the movement. Let them keep chasing.
Absolutely. What you like what did you see from the offense?
And then the offense looks like it's starting to click. You know, Paredes obviously flashing and showing that we got a pretty good deal to get him. And his home play is very, very excellent. He has very opportunity to, probably hit the numbers. You know, there's still a lot of time left for him to heat up and find his groove, but he's working very calm and drawing walks, moving in runners, bringing guys in, is very Cam had an argument single opposite field. Said that if he's top three in the league of opposite field on base runners, I believe. Judge, there's so many of them are above him or something like that. And also Devon or Jake Myers is in that list, which is pretty cool stat. And Zach with his big boy home today. That was a to I remember, I believe. I didn't,
Yeah, the home run. And
uh,
then go ahead, sorry.
and the character to run sequel with the bases loaded was very good an opportunity to execute on high road because a lot of times we get bad situations where we live life guys up base, and it results in losing games in tight situations or small chances that we need to execute on. And Josh has been absolutely electric this season. Lights out with as the longest record streak with 15 consecutive converted saves.
Yeah, absolutely. Game two was really great for the Astros being able to finish off that sweep. But I do want to talk about bases loaded in the Astros because it is something where they have struggled with mightily. I was, watching the game cast, and uh, this is the Astros with the bases loaded this season. They've had 50 plate appearances with the bases loaded, which is seven. And that's a really good spot to be because usually, when you have the bases loaded, it's a recipe for runs. But the Astros have not been great with the bases loaded. Prior to that carry, that Isaac Baez, Zach Fly and that Caratini two-run single, the Astros have had 22 RBIs, which is 25th in MLB. With the bases loaded, they have a batting average of 136, not even in the 200, not 136. On base percentage with the bases loaded is 140. So that on base percentage and the batting average is ranked last in the major leagues, and the OPS, which is on base percentage plus slugging, is ranked 29th with 365. So that was really the difference maker of this game, being able to come up big, come up clutch with the bases loaded. As you saw, Carantini just needed to see one pitch to get that two-run single. But Carantini, man, I know Yadier Diaz is the primary catcher, but the thing with Caratini is whenever his number is called, I think the Astros are very confident that he can produce. No matter if it's in a DH role, he's catching that game or a pitch hitter. I think with Caratini up there, you're gonna get a quality at bat. You're gonna get a guy that's gonna, that's shown that he's cool under pressure. What have you liked about Caratini, as a national fan this season?
He's just always smooth, always relaxed in the batter's box and the way he receives. Besides the fact that him and Gardner are both backing on runners running on them, obviously, but overall, Curtin always find a way runner over, bring a runner in, or just randomly smash a home run. You know,
Absolutely. And we do have some comments coming in. We do have Walter and Gordon have been nasty under the radar. And yeah, I mean, I think so. We'll talk about them in a little bit during the patient preview. But Gordon, I think the Astros have a good one in him. And then, yeah, said the lineups, Stros have needs more on base percentage. We got to figure that out. Who can we lean on to back up Hunter Brown and Nagarasa? No, yeah, that's what we're talking about right now is that, they need to be able to get on base. And Isa Perez does a really good job on that. But overall thoughts, I think the Astros offense is alive and well. Even and last year, the biggest thing is the Astros were able to win without Kyle Tucker, and this year they're sure that they can win without Jordan Alvarez in the lineup as well. Who's always a threat on the base paths. Now I'm gonna ask you this: looking from off the field, from the stands and everything like that. I'm sure you saw Lance McCullers having that 7 run meltdown in the second start in his first start at Minute Park. But do you think he's back?
it's definitely. I think he got that old, then he broke it off and mentally changed, prepared himself to be, here. It's his
Yeah,
time to win, and his name is called. And he's here to know what he's about.
yeah. I think the Astros are gonna have to rely on Lance McCullers a lot more because as of right now, they've had a lot of injuries in their starting pitching, especially starting in the rotation. And I'm gonna say this a little later, but they're probably out with Ronel Blanco. We'll give you details on there. Hayden Wazanski is out. So right now, literally the most consistent pitcher is Trevor Valdez and Hunter Brown,
That's
with rookies around in the National Cutter. So they're gonna have to count on him now. Is he gonna get 12 strikeouts probably every outing? Probably not, right? But I think for Lance McCullers, it's just keeping the Astros in the game, giving them a chance to score runs and not having like 5, 6 runs scored on you. Just keep it, minimal so the offense can come back. And then Josh Hader just doing Josh Hader things has been nails in the bullpen. And I think he's the cornerstone of this bullpen who's for the Astros has been amazing. I think the Astros fans have been blessed with bullpens that can really close it out late in games. And I think it's just continuing on from there. Do you have anything you want to say for overall thoughts, Evan?
I mean, absolutely what Ray's been doing. It's funny because he gets a lot of stuff as well for when his days are not. He was great back last season, but this season he's just been the fan favorite for everybody in the league. Everybody seems to be in FT.
Yeah, absolutely. Any more just on this ace change before we move on to the pitching preview, or are you good to go?
Uh, if I could go, the Aces is a very, very solid team they play against, so it's a good sign that they perform against because Astros will obviously do what they have to do against a team like that.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. I think the A's are on a losing streak right now, but they're still a tough team. Like they got guys like Lawrence Butler who can. Excuse me.
the talent is definitely there. It's just
Yeah,
around there. Very good. Obviously, a team like the Astros with all the experience and veterans there, it's kind of hard to play a number game with them, back and forth.
yeah, absolutely. The A's are 1-9 like in their last 10 games, but like you said, the talent is there. They got a good young studs. Like they probably have a potential rookie of the year this season with Jacob Wilson, Lawrence Butters showing that he can deal up to signing that big contract. But I think what's holding them back a little bit is their starting pitching. I think once they get that going, that offense can score runs. It's just keeping them in game. Yeah. Again, the Astros will see the A's again later this season, so I'm sure that matchup is over and there'll probably be some closer games this next time around. But the Astros will face Tampa Bay at home this time, and it's a 4-game set. And this is where the Astros it's like the perfect example of what's going on with the Astros. They will get Framber Valdez, Hunter Brown, but they will also get 2 rookies pitching against the Tampa Bay Rays. It'll start Thursday with a 7:10 start time. We got Shane Boss versus Ryan Gusto. Gusto is 3-2 with a 4.58 ERA versus Seattle. He pitched decent, 4.1 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. He is making the seventh start of the season. Typically, Ryan Gusto throws 4-5 pitch mix, but he relies heavily on his fastball and curveball. But I think Arrigetti's kind of on the verge of coming back. I'll say give him 3-4 weeks, and I think as of right now, Gusto and Gordon are competing of who's going to stay in once Arrigetti comes back. So these are going to be crucial innings for him, a crucial team that he's that has seen him before. He'll be going against Shane Boss, who is 4-3 with a 4.94 ERA. His last outing, he pitched 5.2 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. They didn't pitch against the Astros last time when they were in Tampa, but he does come in with a 4 pitch mix, a fastball, knuckle curveball, changeup, and slider. Now, his high velo and his great knuckle curve is kind of like Hunter Brown. So I know this is I know the Astros face Hunter Brown during like simulated games in spring training, so that's where that training can come against a pitcher like this who has similar fastball velocity to Hunter Brown and has similar spin rate on his knuckle curve like Hunter Brown too. Uh, his slider, I mean, he will throw that mostly to righties and his changeup to lefties. What do you like about this matchup for Gusto?
It's a good team opportunity to go against and prove himself. Obviously to see if he'll be able to stay on the big league roster, especially with guys going down. Like you said, it's going against Colts and has been showing great flashes, but this match, Gusto really want him. He could show his potential, just staying on and trying not to get frustrated with what's not being called for him, or kind of over the ball.
Absolutely. Ryan Gusto has only gone 5 innings twice this season, and they were both against. One was against San Diego, one was against Toronto. I think that's what the Astros are going to want to see from him, being able to hit that 5 mark. I know he pitched 4.1 innings last time, but if he wants to stay in this rotation once Arrigetti comes back, I think 5 innings is the threshold he needs to um like he needs to reach. On Friday, it's another 7:10 start time. Ryan Peapaw versus Framber Valdez. The Astros seen Ryan Peapaw earlier this season, but so have the Rays seen Framber Valdez. Valdez is 4-4 with 3.39 ERA versus Seattle. 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 run, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts. Obviously, those 4 walks is something Valdez didn't want to see, but he did pitch another quality starts, making 5 quality starts in his last 6 games. I don't know, Sevan, I don't know if it's, but I think Fran Valdez has found his groove. What do you think?
Yeah, he's definitely here. He's finally settled in and seems to be locked into the rest of the Austin break. Just see what he has after that. So now he's like he's locked in, ready to go, back to being himself. Just stay healthy and see what he
Yeah, and I know he's seen the Tampa Bay Rays again earlier this season, but the thing with Fran Valdez is it doesn't matter who he's facing, how many times he's faced them. People know he's gonna throw a high dosage of sinkers, high dosage of curveballs, and he's just gonna throw it out there and say here's my stuff, go hit it, right? So I think that's where he might get the advantage over a guy like Peapod who relies on his stuff to be filthy, but yet you know relies more on like pitch rotation, throwing this changeup at this situation. So before I go into more detail on that, let me give you his stats. He's 3-5 with a 3.55 ERA. Now, last time I talked to you all on Ryan Peepo, he did have a over 4 ERA. It's something Lorenzo and I touched on is don't let that fool you because these guys can pitch. And sure enough, he's able to bring back his ERA right in the 3.55 range. Versus Toronto, he pitched excellent. 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, 0 runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. He has 4 straight quality starts, and that's including a start against the Houston Astros, in which he went 6 innings pitched, 8 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. What do you think about this matchup?
should be a good one. I think
Yeah,
very good matchup. Especially being a young guy, he the one that got the league for the Dodgers over to Tampa. So somebody that's opportunity to prove that he's a good leaguer as well, and kind of prove to the Dodgers that they should never get to him. So the Astros would be a talented team that would be something that you want to create, especially against Fernando Valdez, something that's definitely try to come end up go at least 70.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Ryan Peacock adjusts his stuff. Uh, I could have pulled up, his, what he threw the Astros last time, but I didn't get a chance to look at that. But I wonder if he'll change it up or just would be like Fran Valdez and rely on his stuff a little bit and just say, here it is, he can hit it. But I think with a guy like Peapod and the next guy that tells him more on situational pitches, like he might, if you threw your changeup last time on a 0-2, count, he might throw you a curveball or a fastball, try to get you off guard with that. So, I mean, these guys have videos on these guys, so I think that could be another interesting matchup there. But Saturday is a 3:10 start time. Zach Littell versus Colton Gordon. Gordon is zero has 0-0 record still with a 5.52 ERA versus Seattle. Though he pitched great, 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 3 runs, 0 walks, 4 strikeouts. Has pitched into the 6th inning in consecutive starts. So it's back-to-back starts there. His fastball has been affected from something that's been, the reason why he's been able to pitch 5+ innings in his last 2 starts. But just like Gusto, this is an important outing for Colton Gordon because he is fighting for a spot. Like when Spencer Getty comes, and as of right now, I don't know. I'm leaning Gordon to keep his spot in that rotation just because he's been a little bit more consistent than Ryan Gusto, and Gusto has had experience coming out of the bullpen earlier this season, so that just might be, he might be a little bit more comfortable for that. But I'd say if Gordon continues pitching the way he is, I think he's here in this rotation to stay.
Yeah, definitely. And who wouldn't want another lefty on? It's
Yeah,
definitely
very bad.
very to use against some teams that are very lefty dominant, or obviously have teams that are righty, like Denver's.
Absolutely. And it's crazy that the Astros don't have really much lefties in their lineup, but when it comes to pitching, they have quite a few who have been really effective. Colton
Lefties,
Gordon was
lefties always like to have a run. They always throw batters off. Some of them are good deliveries, and they're kind of niche players.
I agree. I agree with I mean, like I feel like you always need lefties. I think it's kind of like a cheat code in baseball sometimes.
Hmm.
Uh Colton Gordon will square up against Zach Littell, who again he's 4-5 with a 3.97 ERA. This is a guy that had an ERA close to 5 when he pitched against the Astros, but now has brought it down to the threes versus Minnesota. He pitched 6.1 innings, pitched 3 hits, 1 earned run, 0 walks, and 4 strikeouts. His last outing against Houston, he went 5 innings strong, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 0 walks, 4 strikeouts. Now the thing with Zach Littell is he's going to be attacking the play. That's one thing that the Astros are not going to see different from him. I'm sure he's going to come right at you with all his stuff. Doesn't throw hard, but relies on a lot of movement in his pitches. And that's literally why he's been such an effective pitcher, being able to, pick the corners and nibble on the edges. And get this, in his last 7 starts, Littell has only walked 4 hitters. So he's going to be very attacking the plate. Gonna he's gonna want you to get ground outs on his stuff because it's the way his movement and his pitches work.
Who knows? We see Pena bomb.
Yeah,
He's going to be always in the zone. He's going to be ready in the bat, ready. Don't be sitting there too many pitches. If he's not walking anybody, be prepared to hit. There's no point in just sitting there and letting balls get happy that you can put it in play or bringing and running.
absolutely. And I think not just Pena, but the Astros are relying on a lot of hitters to get into hits like Dubon and Pena and even Denzel Cat Smith. Like there is a play in game 2 where Dubon hit kind of a ball that Jacob Wilson had to go to his right a little bit, but was able to beat it out
Hmm.
just because he's that fast. So and speed always works in baseball. Um, Sunday's matchup is a 110, so get there early for that. Taj Brawley versus Hunter Brown. You get to see Hunter Brown again pitching in the homestand. Brown is, like I said, 7-3 with 2 ERA. I'm not going to say the numbers against the A's. You can catch that earlier, but just know he's been dominant as always. Here's some stats for Hunter Brown. Among American League pitchers, Brown ranks second in hits per nine with 5.8. He's tied for first in wins with 7, fourth in whip with a 0.92 whip percentage there, fourth in strikeouts with 79, fifth in strikeouts per nine, and fifth in ERA. Do you
Like,
think? do you think Hunter Brown wins a Cy Young or gets close to winning a Cy Young this year?
I believe he has the top three. I believe he has the opportunity to get there. The way he's been moving, he's definitely trying to prove something to the league.
I mean, I agree with you there. I think Hunter Brown has top three. I definitely agree with. Uh, it can be close. I know Max Fried is pitching pretty good. Like you still got Tariq Skubal with the Tigers, who just came off winning the Triple Crown in pitching. So he does have some tough competition, but I think Hunter Brown is proving that he can be up there with the best, and I think he's been phenomenal for the Astros, who with all the injuries that are happening, this is what they needed. A lights out Hunter Brown, that's what they're getting. So uh really phenomenal
He's
stuff.
in his prime. It's
Excuse me?
he's in his prime. This is exactly what we expected to get out of him. This type of guy, especially pretty much getting a bird on his own. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, he's been in his prime, and the Astros need to take advantage of that. I think maybe a contract to make sure they don't waste any of his prime years. But
The guy he's
he'll be
definitely
facing out against that. Go ahead.
That's definitely a guy you don't want to walk
Sorry,
in.
you're kind of
Astros.
cutting off a little bit.
So that's definitely a guy you don't want to walk. The Astros get in a lot of situations where guys don't come back. And it's unfortunate they go off and do really well.
Hmm. Yeah, you don't want that for sure. But he'll be going against Tosh Browdy, who's 4-4 with a 4.38 ERA. His last outing versus Houston, he did pitch 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, two walks, 7 strikeouts. Now, all three pitchers that they will see on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday air pitchers the Astros have seen earlier. Besides Littell, two of the three pitch quality starts against them. So I'm looking for an Astros team who will adjust, and interesting to see how that works out. But I know I've done a lot of talking, so I'm gonna let Stevan handle the Astros injury updates this second. But give give him his time to shine.
Okay, well, let's touch base with the main guy that we've been worried about and asking me and you know going crazy about going on. As far as hasn't stopped hitting. He's hit multiple times in favorites, but he's staying consistent, staying active. He told us how he's good to go. So, you know, with time, hopefully we'll be able to see him to line up again. That's something that Astros have been waiting and needing desperately. Well, I wouldn't say desperately, but he's definitely somebody kind of that could be a big time game changer, pick up guys and stuff. That's very good having him line up every day. What do
Yeah,
you think?
and the good thing is that Urian Alvarez is doing baseball activities, so he's running, he's hitting. You know, there's video of him catching fly balls in the outfield, and I think for Jordan, he just wants to be 100% because I'm sure he's come to the point right now where he can probably play through it, but it's just the thing you want to be at 100%, and I think Astros fans want you at 100% because the thing is, right now he's hitting off tees, hitting off machines, maybe some soft toss here and there, but so that hand might not be hurting as much, but when you step into that play and you have guys who are throwing 90 plus miles an hour, sometimes you get pitchers throwing 100, and if he hits that ball in the wrong spot, it could probably re-injure that hand once again. So I'm sure he's close to being cleared to play if he has not been cleared already, but I think there's just keeping it, you know, you know, keep
On the
it,
same side,
yeah, on the safe side. There you go.
you need your big guy. You need the big fella out there. He's just fan favorite.
Yeah. What you got next?
Moving on, and now Blanco. Astro Blanco is having season issue elbow Tommy John surgery, which is a really, really, really bad loss for us. Blanco has been absolutely amazing for our should taking off out of, you know, keeping us in ball game, losing a guy like that is a big blow to our life.
Yeah, I mean, since last year, I think Ronald Blanco's been holding down the fort for this Astros starting rotation, and I think I was talking to Lorenzo off air a few days ago that once I heard elbow, you know. pains. Like that was my first thought,
There
you
goes
know, because
another one.
typically,
There goes another one.
yeah, because typically when you know, when you hear elbow, you kind of just hold your breath a little bit, and hopefully it's not Tommy John, but in this case it is for Ronald Blanco. It's a devastating blow for the Astros, for Ronald Blanco as well. But this is why it's important for Lance McCullers to be back to form because they're not going to be able to rely on Herb Brown and Carl Valdez every game. I'm sure they're going to be great the majority of the time, but as you saw against the White Sox and what you saw against Seattle, like Hunter Brown's going to have his days where he's going to allow a few runs, not going to be perfect. Even last start for Brown Valdez, allowed a lot of walks that could have cost him to lose the game. So they're going to have Gordon Gordon and Ryan Goose are going to be the guys who have to eat up some innings, got to step up a little bit
Yeah, and let's see. The Astros going to reach out and try to bring up. They might bring us some talent. I've been seeing guys like Miguel with that he can go on ways in AAA. So there's a lot of
Yeah,
opportunity out there to surprise people.
yeah. I think the Astros are left with no choice but to make probably a move in the trade deadline. So like you were saying earlier right now too. So you're probably looking at maybe what's his name? It's probably someone from the AAA getting moved, or even Chas McCormick there too. So I'm sure like a move might be made, and it's just a matter of when to get another arm for this Astros rotation.
Yes. All right. We're moving on. Spencer. Spencer again has been active in three catches today for the first time since fraction which is a very good sign. He's been down for a little while. The guy that got very hot. Astros will definitely rely on him right now. It'll be a good thing to have him back. So hopefully recovery goes in well and he gets back up to rebuild out there and finishes the season strong than he started.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're not the only one who wants Spencer getting back. If we have a comment there that Spencer would dominate, and I mean, Spencer Getty left. Before he got hurt, he was pitching pretty well in his second year. In the league, and I think he can continue that. The Astros will need him to continue that once he comes back, because again, like we've been saying this podcast a lot, this is a marathon, not a sprint, right? So the Astros are gonna need
It's
him
definitely time.
in those dog days of summer and like those closer to September when they're battling for a division
And teams are going to get hot. You're going to need a pretty good 1, 2, 3 punch.
for sure.
I think Burgers on there and Eric Getty in the Cardinals for lineups and we need some guys to keep getting some games and then hopefully the offense will back then everybody in, injury safe.
Yeah, for sure.
Hmm. Speaking of from Walker was hit by a pitch and had right hand information, but luckily the extra were negative. But here, with the information, get a hit and there's a 90 plus 98, guys 100, hit him in the hand. Something that might take a couple of days, but maybe weeks.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing with Christian Walker is I think they dodged the bullet there. Typically when someone gets hit in the hand, like again, when you hear the elbow thing, you kind of hold your breath there because that's like the most, like, I would say, sensitive part when you're up there hitting because you have the ball making contact and you're holding onto that bat. It's just,
Yeah, and
like
you're thinking
something very uncomfortable.
you're thinking I'm gonna get something to hit, so I know a lot of times guys are, leaning forward and getting ready to, launch on the ball, and to be able to be surprised on the ball, riding into it like that. So that's kind of weird.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's a very uncomfortable feeling, but and I think they dodged the bullet there. X-rays were negative, like you said. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if he's out maybe a game or two. I don't think the IL is where the Astros put Christian Walker. I'll be very surprised if they do. But I think maybe give one or two game breather. And this is where having a guy like Mauricio Dubon or Zach DeSanto, who played first base before, even
Yeah,
Caratini, who's played some.
even
Excuse me.
Yandy is. I had
Yeah.
to mention Yandy, possibly see some games, and maybe you can maneuver a couple guys, and maybe call somebody up and see what else is done.
Yeah, absolutely. So uh, I think the Astros are fine at first base for Chris Walker. It's one or two because, like you said, they have Yanni Diaz and Dubon and all these guys that can step in for that role. So I mean, I think the Astros are in a good spot. But again, 4 game series against Tampa. It's never easy when you face a team, with a quick turnaround as they have, and they just faced them last week. But I think the Astros are in a good spot right now. So, Stevan, any last thoughts before we close it out? How did it feel being, on this podcast for the first time?
Um, a little jittery in the beginning, but eventually you just kind of like go with the flow. But definitely it's exciting. And I like that we're talking about sports a lot, and especially with my favorite team, the Astros, team that we're rooting for, and we're all down for it. It's going through ups and down. And, just want to see them winning. Obviously, I to go to because it's going to be down to us.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll see when the next time we have you back. It was really great, having you too. And Lorenzo's probably watching this, uh, you know,
Taking every moment.
I'm sure, she's about to text me after telling me that, it went well. And this is a guy, I think having number one fan right now. He said he knows ball. I like this guy. So for sure, for sure. But no, thank you for coming in. And just if you missed it, you can catch us on you can find us on X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. That's at Full Steam Ahead. Instagram is at FSA Full Steam Ahead. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify podcast as well. But we appreciate you staying in. We had a pretty good crowd coming in. It's a little shorter one than we usually do. I know we usually keep an hour, but a little shorter, which is great. Do what you got to do at night. But appreciate the support. Appreciate you tuning in, and peace.
Thank you very much.